And there's quite a lot of car racing here, but it's mainly of a domestic nature, so not too many of these drivers know the track well. But Davide, I should say, Rigon certainly does, flying the colours of one of China's top clubs, the Beijing team. So there you see, looking down the grid, the 5-minute board has gone up. We are starting just a little late, but no worry there. And we will have a rolling start, as they do a great deal in the United States, possibly just a little bit safer, but then we think we're going to have an explosive first lap, Bruce. As you said, you know, there's some slower cars at the front, inexperienced drivers, and you're going to have the really quick boys really charging their way through. The driver of the safety car is just climbing aboard, and
we've got AS Roma as well, starting from the second row in third position. Yep. AS Roma, who was looking good in the first race, but they had a problem. Their front wing was collapsing after a small shock during the race, and now he's starting at the front, and he looked very competitive. And Dortmund and Sevilla will have to watch in the mirrors.
We haven't actually seen him on the grid. We understand there's some big football names here as well. Alder, the legendary Brazilian who played for 13 years for Roma. He's supposed to be here. Brazilians love their motor racing. He was so popular, when he retired, they retired his number, which was number 6. So hopefully you might just catch a shot of Alder. But
Liverpool is starting in the middle of the grid as well, which is an advantage. We saw some drivers starting from the real back of the grid, like Davide Rigon or Robert Dombos, starting from last position, finishing in second place, or Craig Dolby as well managed that. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can do that again here, even though it's difficult to overtake, as we know.
Yeah, he went in one race from the very back of the grid to second place, which was a superb performance.
He did.
Well, here is the current championship positions at Beijing, with their 3 victories, of course, on top of the charts with 321 points. AC Milan have 261, and Liverpool, they're making a bit of a charge. They moved up a position after the last race, I believe. No, Milan moved up. That's right. Liverpool are still third, Eindhoven fourth, Galatasaray fifth. Then it's Anderlecht, thanks to Dolby's efforts. Sevilla, obviously they've dropped down a little bit. AS Roma, Corinthians, Tottenham Hotspur with Duncan Tappy there in 10th place out of the 18. Al Ain, the club from the UAE, FC Basel, the Swiss club, Porto, representing Portugal, of course, the Flamengo team who play in the great stadium there in Rio, Rangers, Dortmund, Olympiacos and Atletico Madrid. So just 3 minutes there, the board is held up, and the race organisation here, a mixture of Italians and British, and of course the whole championship run so slickly from Spain by the Superleague Formula team. But a nice look there in the eyes of Robert Dornbos. And of course, Robert is a very experienced racer. He's raced in Formula 1. Then he was a Red Bull test driver, did a lot of the Friday driving for a while. Robert Dornbos then decided to find his fortune over in the United States, where he did a great job last year in the Champ Car Series. But sadly, with the merger of Champ Car and IndyCar, he lost out on his ride. He was the Rookie of the Year last year, so and he won quite a lot of races. So Robert is a hard charger, and he'll be a difficult man to beat, but he has to come from the back of the grid, Bruce.
Exactly, and he's starting side by side with Davide Rigon, who won the race, who was a little bit quicker than him, who made a move and a fantastic overtaking maneuver on him. And it's going to be interesting to have a look at the two of them. Let's just hope they're not banging wheels, and they will keep it clean.
1 minute to go. 2 other things we should mention. Of course, all the cars have push to pass buttons, which gives them an extra 1,000 revs. They can only use it for a limited period of time, and only so many times during the race. And we do have a mandatory pit stop also in this series, and the pit window will start at lap 8. So that can also play a major part. So the pace car is rolling off now, and in just a second, I suspect that the Dortmund car, he will start this machine. Now, these are semi-automatic gearboxes, Bruce. Normally you don't use a clutch. How do you actually get the car off the line? You've got a hand clutch?
No, you don't. You actually have 3 pedals. So you use the clutch to start the car, but once the car is moving, you're never using the clutch ever again, whether it's for upshift or downshift. It all does through the steering wheel and the pedal shift system.
And what about for pit stops? So you use the clutch?
You use the clutch, you stay in first gear, you use the clutch, and as soon as the pit stop is finished and then the lollipop is up, you can go.
Well, if you haven't heard these cars before, they sound absolutely magnificent, revving up to 12,000, these V12 engines. Not many racing cars have V12 engines these days, but I think it probably produces the best sound of any racing engine in the world. The engine is specially built for Superleague Formula, as still have a little hold here just before we go. And this is a difficult time for drivers, Bruce. Now they let out that clutch, and well, who's going to know what happens as they head off on this warm-up lap, and then they'll come around the long right-hander, the Roma corner. It goes all the way through 180 degrees behind the paddock, and the guy in pole position will control the field there, and then the lights will go out, and then you'll hear the scream of the racing engines. We're going to see smoke and rubber flying, and hopefully not too much carbon fibre bodywork, but this is going to be something else, I can tell you, this start here, as the cars weave to get just a little bit of temperature into their tyres. A bit of smoke coming there.
Flamengo just fixing his brake bias, and we could see a few cars at the front of the starting with new tyres. I think Roma is starting with new tyres. I think Dortmund is starting with new tyres, so it's going to be quite interesting to see if they can actually use and benefit from using new tyres at the start of the race.
And of course they have to change their tyres when they make a pit stop. Will we go back to used tyres then? They have 4 sets, yes.
But they will have to go back to used tyres that they used during qualifying. So yeah, pretty much quite a few cars using new tyres. PSV Eindhoven is not using new tyres, Liverpool is not using new tyres, but Dortmund for sure, Sevilla, Atletico Madrid and Roma. So the first few cars all starting together, probably not pitting too early, I would say.
Now the Sevilla car driven by Borja Garcia, and he's a very fast man, Garcia. I mean, this might just play to his advantage, the problems he had. Obviously he didn't want to have the problems earlier, but the Sevilla car is well up in the table, and he did have a victory at Donington Park, although since then he hasn't been on the podium. So watching out for Garcia and see what sort of start he can make.
They're heading into the S's, and there is only one more corner after that. They will probably try to go side by side and line up all together, 2 by 2. Yes, here they are, heading for Roma, the last corner.
Hearts racing then, cars going slowly. We'll see them around this long Roma corner, and in a second the lights are going to go out, Bruce, and there will be a crescendo of sound, and there they go, the lights aren't out, but they're racing already, and the Dortmund car is in the lead at the moment. What will happen down in the first corner, and who is muscling his way down through the field?
Sevilla second, and Madrid third, Roma fourth, and no one makes a move in the first corner. Braking late. Big crash.
Big shunt.
Okay, there's going to be AC Milan is off, as well as Corinthians and Flamengo.
Yeah.
Flamengo, AC Milan, and there's going to be a safety car for sure. 2
Brazilian cars tangled there. One car just getting away, and there's bodywork and goodness knows what.
Okay.
See one driver climbing out, Bruce.
Yes, he's climbing. The 2 drivers are okay. The 2 drivers are climbing out of the cars. That's good. Ooh.
Well, happened. Oh.
Okay, it's Flamengo who actually smashed into the AC Milan car, and they took the Corinthians car with them, and no rolls, but Flamengo actually took off, and there is the safety car. There should be a safety car ready on track already. Yes, there is a safety car board up. Dortmund is leading in front of Madrid.
Well, have a look at this one. Whoa! Right over the roll bar, and there the AC Milan car goes spinning off into the gravel. Absolute disaster for that car.
You can see he actually took off his rear wing, wheels and everything. Outbraked himself, took a Rocha and took AC Milan out, which obviously helps a lot Beijing. That's racing, I guess.
So the safety car is out. This might take a few laps to tidy up, but the clock will continue to click here.
And that's the Scuderia play team, AC Milan Squadra.
Well, I'm sure the drivers have something to say about this afterwards.